Beyond the Echo Cavern by BreAnna Teschendorf, Chapter 18, Bedtime Whispers. They did not find Rivers that night and presumed he was in the cave on duty. None of them felt much like going into the cave if they didn't have to, and so they decided just to go to their grassy nest and sleep. They lay down and discussed what they knew. They would need something to break the crystal with, and they would need light. They decided they should take something besides the flashlight. The battery would never last for the entire journey. Of course, there was the problem of food and the problem of the snakes. There were also many what ifs, especially what if Gondel caught them and put them in the crystal too? They made jokes about it so they wouldn't feel so nervous. "I'll chop her neck if she touches you guys. Hi-ya!" said Gabe, who had no real knowledge of karate, but desired to be a black belt more than anything else. At length, they all fell asleep under the explosive starry sky and slept warmly, if not peacefully. Charlie had another dream. This time, the person with the glacial eye, Gondel, was behind him, chasing him. He looked over his shoulder, trying to see a face or a form, but all he could see was a body with a giant blue eye on top of it, and he felt horrible fear. He was running through dark cave passages and suddenly came to a horrible wall. He began to pound on it in terror, screaming, hearing the footsteps behind him, when he heard a voice inside of him say the words he was coming to know well. "Be bold, Charlie. Be brave." As the words echoed inside of him, the sound of the approaching footsteps died away, and he found himself standing in an all-white room with no dimension, almost as if he was floating. "How do you know my name?" he asked the voice, surprised to find that it was not his own inner self speaking. "I have always known your name." The voice seemed to rumble all around him. The very atmosphere of the space he was in seemed to vibrate. "Who are you?" Charlie called into the void with all of his strength and frustration. "I am the one who called you." Charlie jerked awake, still panting heavily. He let the dream wash off him. "The one who called me," he whispered repeatedly to himself. Then he heard whispers in the grass near him. He snapped fully awake, realizing this was what had jerked him out of the dream. "Yes, I understand that Hoan sent the message, Himnia." It was Rivers talking. "Then how can you say they cannot go?" asked Himnia in an emotional but hushed voice. "How can we let them? They know nothing. They have never even met Hoan. I heard whispers in the darkness again tonight," Rivers continued. "Whispers?" asked Himnia. Charlie could hear the alarm in her voice. "Yes, whispers. The snakes. They are just outside the door. They have been there the last 2 nights, since those 3 arrived. I haven't told them, but the snakes are waiting for them. She has seen them too. The snake said that she is also waiting for them. So how can we let them go?" River's voice was near panic. "Shh," said Himnia. "We must discuss it tomorrow with Charlie, Annika, and Gabe together." "Yes," said Rivers gruffly and reluctantly, and they were both silent. Charlie wasn't sure if he loved Rivers or hated him. Part of him was touched that Rivers cared for their safety and wanted to warn and protect them. Another part of him was certain of his calling, even more certain after his dream, and he was horrified that Rivers would try to stand in the way. Charlie felt certain that Rivers only wanted the treasure for himself. How could Rivers call himself a son of Hoan's and be so devoted to him and want to stand in the way of what he was saying? Charlie wasn't even royalty, and he could see the hypocrisy of it,
He rolled onto his back and looked at the stars, turning these thoughts over in his mind, as well as the thoughts of the predatory snakes, until he fell asleep again at last. End of chapter 18. God bless you. Thank you for listening.